the late Francis Kitime was he was a great man. He was a great singer, songwriter. And I mean, I don't know why he wasn't better known, because he was easily as good as the other guitarists who I met, all great guitarists. And Francis, he was up there with them. He was up there with them. The biggest period, the golden age for fingerstyles in Katanga, Zambia, Tanzania, Kenya, the golden age of fingerstyles was in the 1950s and the 1960s, before the electric bands took off. What had happened was that the styles of the electric guitar bands evolved gradually from the fingerstyles that were around at the time. So, for example, and because the bands could play to much bigger audiences, and because the music was more complicated and probably better to dance to, the popularity of the bands eclipsed the fingerstyles, and the fingerstyles started to fade away. I mean, that's what happens in music. You know, fashions change. Some styles make it, some styles don't make it. And you could say that's just show business.
Why should people care about this music? Why care?
Why care? There are people who say you shouldn't particularly care about a style of music, particularly if it's been knocked off the high pedestal that it once held, and it's in the realm of Zilizopendwa. There was a YouTube interview with Johnny Clegg, who was saying some music makes it, and if it does, well, good luck. Other music, it doesn't make it, and there's always going to be music that doesn't make it, and it disappears into the mists of time. I mean, my feeling about it is different. For one thing, the guitar fingerstyles that I know in Africa are, from a musical point of view, the complexity and the richness and the variation of it stands up to anything in the world, and it's unique because it's drawing on African roots. So that's one reason. That the other thing, I found that the content of the music, the content of the songs, the commentary of the songs on African life. Francis Kitime's songs are a good example. It's a song to comfort a crying child. It's like a lullaby. And you get the feeling that he drew from Hehe culture. So he's created a very rich field. That's why I said he's a singer-songwriter who drew on the culture of his own people. I mean, one of his songs that I recorded was Migohaja Lugalo, the Battle of Lugalo, which is a major part of Tanzanian history. So it was a battle that was won by the Hehe king Mkwawa and his warriors. They were just armed with spears, and they beat the Germans, who were armed with guns, and they had a machine gun. It's an important staging post in the history of a people. But the song that Francis wrote, I don't think it's as well known as it should be. So it's kind of interesting why that is. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe because if he'd sung the song in Swahili, it might be more famous, but he sung in Kiev. I mean, I personally, because I met Francis and I learned his songs, I feel he deserves to be better known than he was. And I mean, Francis's songs are historical. And of course, he's not the only one to do that, because African musicians do that all the time. Just like Francis, they cover politics, they cover everyday life, they satirize people's behaviors, they laugh at people's weaknesses, sometimes they protest against politicians. This was true of the songs that I recorded as well. If you look at a collection of songs from Jean Bosco Mwenda, Los Dabella, Francis Kitime, George Mugabe, they capture a moment in time in a very interesting way. I think every effort should be made to preserve it, and I think the more local these archives are, you know, the archives for Tanzania should be cited in Tanzania and should be developed with Tanzanian musicians and poets and everyone should contribute to those. Yeah, it's very important.